INEC social media department or the national, is it NOA, orientation agency. Yeah. This is prime time for them. Yeah. You know, I mean, that questions like this are coming up at a time like this. It's evidence that that agency hasn't done its bit. It's evidence that the Ministry of Information could have done better. It's evidence that the INEC unit who's responsible for voter education ought to have done a whole lot more than they have done. Because there are, you know, you will be amazed at the level of confusion on Saturday. You know, because, you know, it's like, of course, having said all of this, on the flip side of it also, as a people, we are not also ourselves, you know, very few people take the pains to understand. Yeah. So we also have that playing out. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'd rather be spoon-fed, you know. Reading is not... That's the fact. You know, that's a fact. You know?
So the role of the political parties, besides putting forth their candidate, Mr. Obani, some say the role also includes educating the people.
I agree with you.
But they go out there saying, vote for us, without saying how to vote, where to go to, without explaining to the people the INEC rules, as you say, rules of engagement. Should it all rest with INEC? No. Or the politicians also needed to do something?
They have a lot to do. But they're interested in the crowd that actually come to their rallies. But whether those crowd, you know, are properly educated as to the electoral process, you know, how to vote, you know, what to do in the circumstance, you know, I don't think it occupies their mind. But actually the role of a political party is voter education. They must be involved in getting to the root, even if it means like an evangelism, you know, house to house, you know, telling them what to do, where to put their hands and all that. Because they can make a mistake, even in the voting process, you know, that will annul the entire thing, you know. So how we do it, so you don't fold, so that the ink doesn't go to...
And this time it's bigger.
It's bigger, because how many, you know, they know another...
The political parties may not be so interested because it may seem as though that is not really what wins or, you know, elections are not won or lost on the basis of how you vote. So
how is it being won?
That could be why. That could be why they're not
interested in education. But it is a role. It is a role that is very critical.
Norwa, we're being told constantly these days that our votes count.
I hope it does. I pray it does. I wish it does. It's unfortunate, but those are the kind of thoughts that are going through one's mind at this time. You know, you asked about INEC, and from a distance, I don't work with INEC. So how am I judging INEC? I'm judging INEC, this INEC. I'm judging this INEC by the couple of elections we've had. All right? The Ekiti State, the Osun State. Yeah. I'm judging this INEC by the fuss they made about the lady who was supposed to be in charge of the collating.
Who was the president's
cousin? Yes. Alleged cousin.
Yes, alleged, whatever it is. And so I'm asking myself, you know, you don't get the impression that this INEC is, you know, is like a Jaga kind of INEC. Jaga wasn't perfect, but you had this mind that he was a man that, you know, would stand his ground.
He knows where he's going.
Yes, but somehow, and unfortunately so, the impression you get is that this INEC can be swabbed this way or that way by whoever. And that's not good enough for us.
Mr. Bani, aren't we putting too much pressure on INEC? I mean, what about the other...
institutions?
The other parts, because the entire election is like an infrastructure, it's like a structure that has different parts. There is a security part, there is we talked about the political parties a bit, we also talked about the electorate. So why are we all looking at INEC? These other parts, are they doing their own, are they playing their own role?
A very intelligent question. But INEC becomes a focal point because it's umpire.
It's the arrowhead.
It's the arrowhead. Yeah. It's one that decides. Any other person that is coming to, you know, participate in the process is just playing an assistant's role, not critical role. Everything revolves around INEC. You know, it falls and dies with INEC. If INEC decides to hold a critical and free and fair election, they can. But they must get the fundamentals right, which is what he's saying. The fundamentals are critical. How ready are you? The logistics, are they in place? The people you have employed, are they ready to do the right thing? The ad hoc worker, even the permanent workers, are they ready to go out and say, look, Nigeria must get it right? Because the electoral process is key. The moment you don't get your electoral process right, then you can't talk about leadership. And our problem in this country is leadership. We are deficient in leadership. Just because the president is coming to Lagos today, the truck These trucks that they have refused to remove on the road have all disappeared. Now, my house, that by 7 o'clock they will take PSN light. And as I left my house, the light is still on because the president is in the Lagos. So it tells you that there is a problem with this country. It's about leadership. The moment we get it right, but you can't get leadership right when your electoral process is flawed. So you must ensure that the men that run this particular umpire is very unbiased and they are ready to do good to Nigeria by making sure that the right persons are voted in. The moment we don't get it right with that electoral process, Nigeria will never get it right in terms of leadership. That is critical. So they have a role to play, and I hope they know that this is God-given role. They must do this thing right and make Nigeria to work again. Nigeria is not working. The reality is that Nigeria today is not working, but it's only working for few.
Now, we spoke about the extra polling booths which INEC is planning. Good news, indeed, so that we will not have congestion in some others. But we haven't been told where those new polling booths are going to be. So, I mean, what use is it to us when we are preparing for the elections and a week to the time, we still don't know where exactly we're going to vote?
That's what I said, that there may be confusion galore on Saturday. I don't know what's going to happen. I want to believe that they have a plan. Now, whether that plan has been communicated effectively to us, because we are the recipients of their services, is another story. I mean, so the onus is on INEC so for example, as far as I'm concerned, this is my polling unit at a point, you know. So imagine if I got there on Saturday and they said to me, oh, sorry, you are now been moved from here to the other place. Meanwhile, there's restriction of movement.
Yeah.
So I'm stranded. You know what I mean? So those are some of the things that that's why I say that, you know, when you ask, are we ready? I mean, if you were to tick the boxes, all right, you know, project management, and you tick your boxes, you discover that there are quite a few boxes that we cannot tick at this time.
Okay, let's see about those boxes. So let's go. PVC.
Check.
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 Polling unit. Check.
No.
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 Because you don't know
But
yet.
INEC says those polling, they're not exactly polling units. They are polling points, or what they call them. I think they call it voting points.
Okay.
And INEC says it's only the FCT that's going to have the voting points.
Oh, that's fine. It's only FCT.
Oh, only FCT?
Oh, yes, that is only like a test run for the FCT.
Okay.
So should we say check on that one?
On that basis, yes.
Okay. Voter education, do we say check?
No.
Because
No.
Evidence before you says no.
Because here's somebody tweeting.
All right, all right. No, we're going to talk to an INEC official. But let me read this out. Sylvester Ibinola says, can I drive from Mahuta around NNPC to Angwarimi in Kaduna to vote? It's 20 minutes drive from both ends. Whichever way he wants to go, it's 20 minutes drive.
Okay.
So he's wondering if he can drive that way to be able
without security not being a hindrance.
Without security being a hindrance. So that's Sylvester writing in from Kaduna. So I think we have a resident electoral commissioner, Mike Igini, on the phone to talk to us, to explain this. Mr. Igini?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Igini. So you've heard this, the concerns that are being raised here. Case in point, the new voting point INEC is proposing. I think INEC mentioned that it's going to be the FCT, but you need to clarify that. And then apparently a lot of people are still...
No, come again. What point? No, come again. The point
the new voting points. Voting points.
Okay, voting points. Okay, all right.
Yeah, voting points. And then some level of voter education. Apparently, a lot of people are still not educated as regards to where they are going to vote. People are still sending in messages. Can I drive from here to the other place in 20 minutes to be able to vote and all of that? So can you just clarify in the area of preparations, voter education, the new voting points, and the PVCs?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, you know, the rule has already been that you vote where you have registered, because we have not created new polling units across the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So what we still have is the 120,000 polling units that we have been using before. And so in this election, that is also where you are going to vote. There will be total restriction of movement. All right? But you can walk up to the area where you are going to vote on the election day. Now, with respect to voting points, because for a very long time we have not created a new polling unit, as a result of the fact that new settlements have emerged across the country, what now happens is that in every polling unit, all the existing polling units, they are obviously crowded. And so, for instance, in a polling unit where you have 1,500 people or above that, and of course we have
Mr. Agini, please, Mr. Agini, please let me crave your indulgence. Mr. Agini, I beg your pardon. I'll crave your indulgence to please hold on. We need to take a very quick break. We'll come back and you'll continue from where you left off. Please don't lose your train of thoughts. We'll be back shortly.